Last Pint Productions presents the New Way podcast. The New Way contains adult content, including sages, robots, and grunts. Listener discretion is advised.
You said you had a movie you wanted to pitch to me? Yeah, you're gonna like this one. So what's something that's a part of every young person's life these days? I don't know. Oh, they like to poop. Yeah, but also they use emojis. Oh, you see where I'm going with this? No, an emoji movie. Oh, that's good, because they're super popular. Very popular. So what's the story? The what? The story, like what's the movie about? Oh, yeah, no, I've got a bit of that in here.
Everybody wants to be naked and famous. Everybody wants to be just like me. I'm naked.
Will you help teach me about this? What is it? A new way?
Hello and welcome once again to the New Way podcast, where we break down pop culture so you don't have to. As some of you can see by watching your video, you'll realize that everyone else is on a slight delay from the audio that I am pushing out. So as Ben tried to mouth the same words I was saying, it came across a little bit like a Hong Kong action movie from the 70s. But
if you are watching online, if you're listening, you probably don't notice any lag in video.
That's true.
The video is actually much better when you're only listening to the podcast and not actually watching it. The video is perfect in that case.
But then you can't see the beautiful visage of one Paul Mamalito.
This is true. We have a special guest on the podcast. Of course, we have Ben Wilson, social distancing over in nearby Boynton Beach.
Hi, how are you?
And Nick Santa Croce, social distancing across the entire United States and Los Angeles.
See you in yours.
And Mr. Paul Mamalito in the Delray Beach area, joining us because he was on a podcast similar to this one back in, I believe, September or October, and
was the runaway hit.
Was a runaway hit. Did such a smashing job that we decided to bring him back, mainly because he begged and begged and begged to please do the show again.
False.
So this is entirely true. Begged only less than John Reinsvold to get on the show.
And I want you to know, Paul, I told Matt off the record before we started recording, I believe lightning can strike twice. I really do.
It's a lot of pressure.
It is. This, well, hopefully you don't have that sophomore slump, but we'll see what happens.
Hey, funny.
I mean, I don't see somebody getting their dick sucked for 4 straight days in this one. But
no.
So, well, who knows? Who knows?
Well, it's 24 hours. Hey, funny
context. maybe listen to the last movie pitch game to understand that reference, because that sounded really weird out of context.
I
sure.
participated in that episode, correct?
Mhm.
I have no.
I forgot for a second. Paul's pitch last time involved someone getting their dick stuck in a vacuum in a swimming pool.
Oh, right.
For a long time.
I failed to say that it was a hot tub.
Mishap.
A hot tub intake valve.
I thought that Ben said dicks sucked, not dicks stuck.
I think he said both. He said dick because it was in a vacuum. It's the same.
Because of a vacuum. It was sucking his dick.
That's the beauty of a vacuum. So
I remember that.
So,
of course. Who could forget
Hey,
that?
guys.
Let's just argue about that the whole podcast.
Wanted to let you know
Semantics.
a quick little funny story from today. So I've been using Zoom for all these personal kind of like happy hours and shit like this. And yeah, sure. And the last time I was on, I don't know if it was on with you guys, whoever I was on with, we were putting a bunch of ridiculous pictures, background pictures on. And I had a client set up a Zoom call for me today to chat with 2 people. And I jump online and I go, "Are we doing video?" And they go, "Yeah, we can do video." So I click the video.
Oof.
And up pops a picture of Carl Baskin with a lion behind me in a totally professional setting. And I had to be like, and I came out. I was like, this was from Happy Hour.
Well, at least you knew who to blame.
Yeah.
Carol fucking Baskin.
Yeah.
It's always her fault.
I mean, that would have been it could have been way worse. I've got way worse things that I've put up on the chat back here that way with people I work with, he would have just laughed. I actually moved our company onto Zoom this week because we were using this other service called Blue Jeans. It sucked. And we basically would argue with each other about whose connection it was. And it turned out it was just blue jeans just sucks because I'm like I don't have any problems on Zoom. Like everything's crystal clear on this other one. So I got us on here and I was like, you can do backgrounds, and I just started showing all the shit.
So you went to Slacks.
I went to Slacks.
The virtual backgrounds are
by Zoom.
The virtual backgrounds are really hit or miss. You know, you never know what's going to go over with anybody. You think you have a winner. We were playing some Jackbox game with some friends, and my buddy Frank thought it would be really funny to put up a video virtual background of a chimpanzee masturbating, and it killed the whole round of Quiplash. Everyone's like, I think I got to go now.
Oh, wow.
We were like 20 minutes into the game. So be careful out there, everyone.
Yeah.
Use some tact and some judgment, for God's sake.
Well, it's I had a funny one with my buddy Mark. I showed him that like they released all these Star Wars backgrounds, so you can do all this stuff. For some reason, I don't know what it was. He was sitting in front of like a blank wall. It should have been the perfect thing. It couldn't find him. So it literally just would be like the Millennium Falcon, but then you'd see eyeballs and teeth in the wall, just like weirdly smiling and nothing else. And he's like, I don't know what's happening. I'm like, it doesn't register you as a human being. Like,
only parts of Han Solo made it out of carbonite.
It was really, really frightening. I have some very strange news to share on here involving our musical episode. This is one of the stranger things. So back, I think this is the longest running blog. It holds some records on blog lists as being like one of the most like updated every single day for the last 30 years or something blog.
Perez Hilton.
Not 30 years, not Perez Hilton. Close though. It was this blog I started looking at in college, and it was two things. One was called Uncle Scoopy's Funhouse, which was basically a Mr. Skin knockoff, right? He would just find like random pictures of celebrities, and here's like a new movie came out this week, and here's
wasn't that the name of the show that Weird Al Yankovic hosted?
That's
on
Uncle Slappy's Funhouse. It's close. It's very close.
Not
Uncle Scoopy would do this thing, and then he ran a blog alongside it called Other Crap, and Other Crap was basically trying to siphon people into the pay site. But so he'd share like a couple like naked celebrities, which I had zero interest in. But then he would do like, it was basically like Reddit front page before Reddit. So you would get all of these like basically a group of funny articles or strange things. And then he would occasionally do these like deep dive analyses on movies. They're always really like, he was obviously like a cinephile and a huge baseball geek. Like he would write these really deep dive things on baseball, like crazy in-depth stats, right? So I literally started reading Other Crap in like 2001, I think.
But I thought you wanted to talk about the blog that you visited, though.
That's the blog, is Other Crap. Other Crap is the blog.
But who's on first base?
There we go.
You're talking about baseball? I'm really confused.
All right, so get to the point here. So one of the things that he loves to talk about in the blog is he considers Roadhouse to be the Citizen Kane of B movies. It is the B movie to end all B movies. And so I was reading the blog last night, and he made a Roadhouse reference. I was like, shit, I should send him the episode of the musical adaptations we did on the podcast a couple weeks ago. So I sent it to him, and today we made the front page of Other Crap, and wow. he like shared
You made sure to mention to him that you hated getting assigned Roadhouse.
He knows. I said it was under protest that I did Roadhouse. No, I basically said, hey, I said I'm like long fan. I talked about kind of the history of reading his site.
Long fan.
long fan. Sent him like all those things. So he posted my like email, which I also talked about like the musical and where to skip to in the podcast if you want to listen to that, or if you want to listen to Big Trouble or Election, here are the timestamps for those. So he posted all that, and he goes,
but they suck, don't listen to them.
He goes, Matt, thanks for the kind words, funny stuff, but I thought Roadhouse already was a musical. Strange coincidence. As soon as I read your email, I thought that the lead song had to be Pain Don't Hurt, and laughed out loud when you got to the same place to the others. The embed below goes straight to the Roadhouse pitch, but there's lots of fun elsewhere, and shouts out to everybody else, and then put us up a link to the YouTube version of the podcast from that week. So that was very fun to see that happen so quickly. So thanks to Uncle Scoopy and the Scoopy Funhouse and Other Crap for posting this today. That was awesome.
Nice.
If you go to listen to the musical episode through Uncle Scoopy, it's called the Matt Shank podcast featuring the Roadhouse musical.
Correct. And
Right.
That's okay.
co-starring
Hey,
Warren Zevon in Big Trouble in Little China, and then a quick
Co-starring Fun to Be Had
45-minute
Elsewhere.
segment on Election the Musical that is twice as long as anything else in the entire episode.
Yes.
hey, listen. I slaved over a hot microphone for you.
If the podcast was a
Let's just rename our podcast "Fun to Be Had Elsewhere."
That's right. I do like that. There's a lot of fun elsewhere. He didn't mean elsewhere outside. He meant in the same episode.
I understand that.
So I have a debate to get into with you guys before we start our topic tonight.
We also have to do our cold reading assignment.
Yes, and we'll get to that. Well, we can do the cold reading real quick. So our next episode, well, it might be airing. There might be an episode airing in between, but we are going to be recording soon a cold readings episode. And cold readings basically is where each of us is assigned a movie by one of the other participants that we have never heard of. We have not seen a trailer. We don't know who's in it. We don't know who directs it. We have never, to our knowledge, this movie has never gotten on our radar. And we watch
It's the
it.
opposite of our frequent hot
Correct. Our hot takes and cold
hot
readings.
readings.
Yes.
Hot readings.
Right.
And so the idea is that we get to watch something completely blind and then come back and review it for you without, having any preconceived notions about the movie or anything like that. So we're going to do assignments. We also are going to have a couple of guests on next week as well. We're going to have a couple of Ben's friends, I believe, from another beer cast are going to be joining us for a little, possibly.
Possibly. It might be the podcast after, but we'll see.
And then we're definitely going to have our buddy Mark Travellini is going to come on, and I have already assigned him a movie. And boy, if I could remember what that was, it would be great. But Ben, why don't you share your assignment, and Nick, you share yours while I look that up.
Matt's real excited to give.
Well, my assignment is for Mr. Matt Schenk, and I actually have a question for you.
All right.
Because I already asked you about one that I know you haven't seen or heard of or have any context about, but I have another one that was my first choice, and I wanted to ask you live.
All right.
Have you ever heard or seen or are aware of the 80s movie Choose Me?
I am not, to my knowledge, aware of that movie.
Then that is your movie.
Is it
Choose
spelled
Me?
CHOOSE or CHEWS?
CHOOSE.
Okay, so
Choose
it's not a zombie movie called Choose Me. All right.
Nope.
Oh, I like that though.
Okay. Excellent.
Nick, do you not remember watching Choose Me?
Did we watch Choose Me?
We saw Choose Me together. I will. I don't want to spoil the context. so-
Interesting. No, I do. I don't remember it by the title, but by the look in your face, I should remember.
You should. You
Okay.
should remember it.
And
No more context.
And Nick,
Yeah,
what did
so-
you assign to Ben?
I am signing Mr. Benjamin Scott Wilson, a modern classic, The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot.
The Man Who
Nice.
Killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot.
Subsequently, Bigfoot.
I just saw.
No spoilies.
No spoilers.
I just saw a trailer for it.
Yeah. I'm surprised you haven't heard of that, Ben, at least from in passing.
No.
Interesting.
No, I haven't.
Thank Gord.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then I assigned to Nick a movie called The Last Supper. And I'm not going to even give him a time stamp necessarily on that of when it was released, but that's going to be a fun one for him. And then the movie I assigned to Mark Travis.
I read the part about it in the Bible, but I don't know anything else. About it.
And then
One Day BC.
yes, I assigned to Mark a movie called Son of Rambo. And that is spelled Rambow. We'll say no more about it until he watches it.
Oh, I know that movie.
And participates next week.
Is that a documentary or a narrative film?
Why don't you just?
Yeah, we'll
because
wait.
he's going to listen to this podcast.
I'll tune into that episode.
Yeah, I just don't want to spoil
I'm
it for him because he'll listen to this too.
Okay. Fair enough.
So we're looking forward to doing that with Mark.
Don't be presumptuous.
Yes, it's true.
There's fun to be had elsewhere.
This is
So
true.
so what's the bone that you have to pick with us?
So, and not to pick with any of you. I got into an argument with a couple of people over this, but so the news story that kicked it off is that AMC Theaters is going to war with Universal Studios Pictures over basically the way Universal released the Trolls movie. And my one buddy was like, "Oh, this is the death of movie theaters. Trolls made $100 million. That's unheard of." And I'm like, but it's not. And it was a perfect storm, and it was like a gazillion things going on. But yeah, Trolls making 100 million versus Avengers making 2.8 billion sort of sets a little bit difference as far as the home market release.
It's funny that you mention Avengers, because I was watching some clips that were re-released of the original audience reaction on the opening night of Endgame, and started getting a little emotional, teared up a little bit, and it reminded me of how much I do miss seeing big event movies, and even really any movie in a theater.
Yeah,
it gets tired. It's like traveling for work. You get tired of that, but give you 1 month locked inside your apartment, and I'm ready to go where the fuck ever.
You're like, send me to Guam.
Yeah,
send me to the fucking Philippines.
I'll go to Guam, baby. But
I mean, the last movie I saw was Rise of Skywalker, and I need another movie in the theater, please.
Luckily, mine was Sonic the Hedgehog. But my point
was mine as well.
Things will. That's funny. Things will normalize. I think that it would be nice. It would be really nice if Universal threw a little bit, a public donation for movie theaters, all movie theaters in America who are really struggling. They were struggling before the pandemic. I understand why they would get upset, but I feel like this is sort of a escalated war that's probably bad for both sides.
Yeah, I think AMC decided to just
like a trade war.
Yeah, they're throwing down a gauntlet. I think it's a little misguided. I think this was and it's also, I hate that this is all happening over the fucking Trolls sequel.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sequel to a movie that didn't do well in the theaters. It hit it big on the home video market.
Exactly.
And that's where it made its money. And that's the only reason it got a sequel. That movie probably should never have gone to theaters and just gone straight to video at the end of the day.
I feel like you guys should give a little context to what they're
yeah.
what they're
So the Trolls movie, I mean, most people with kids realize that the Trolls movie was released instead of going into theaters because they were on lockdown. They released it to on demand, where you could buy it on a streaming service.
Most recent one.
You could rent it for $20.
Trolls 2.
You don't own it, but you get to rent it and you watch it for like 2 days, or you get it, whatever it is. You get it for a couple of days or a single viewing or whatever, and then it's done. So
it's what's called premium VOD.
Yes.
It's basically like same as in theater, which they've done for a lot of independent films, where it's like they release at the same time in New York, LA, these big markets, and you pay essentially what you would pay if you went to the movies and you saw the movie and bought popcorn. That's basically the equivalent. And but this is the first time. Usually, premium VOD has been specifically utilized for films that are not going to find an audience unless they're on VOD. Whereas,
like The Man Who Killed Hitler, and then
yeah,
exactly, precisely. That's the type of thing that you would typically find on premium VOD, and it would be a $15 rental the same day.
Keyword premium.
Premium.
Okay.
Whereas the Trolls 2 was marked for a cinematic release and was probably expected to track somewhere in the $30 to $40 million range in its opening weekend. That is now went straight to a premium VOD model when they closed all theaters, and they decided, apparently without consulting the theater companies, to just directly release it.
Yeah, and
that's the context.
And most other movies just bumped their release date. So like the Bond movie, like a bunch of movies have supposed to have been released in the last month and a half. The Black Widow movie, the Bond movie, those all got pushed to foreseeably to the fall, depending on when movie theaters are actually able to open again.
There are now a few films that are not like marquee tentpole films, but that are independent films that are now also doing the same model sometime this summer, in May and June, that are going directly, but they've done partnerships with like Amazon or Netflix basically, and they've done a purchase agreement, with those companies. So they're essentially getting paid as opposed to going through a distributor.
So they released it in the theaters for a little while until everything shut down, and then they went to premium.
Not Trolls.
No, not Trolls. They just released it straight to premium VOD.
Because
so what legal ramification? Like why does AMC have a leg to stand on? Do they?
There's nothing legal. They literally just said we're not going to show Universal. They're pissed that Universal decided not to work out an agreement with them where it would either get pushed to a later date like the other movies were doing, or there would be some cut given to AMC because it was being pulled at the last minute, without it hit the perfect time. It was one of the few
movie
movies,
theater Hammurabi's Code. They're cutting off Universal's hand.
And it was one of the it hit at the time where it was one of the families were starved for new content and entertainment, and all the theaters were closed, and Trolls was like the one movie that happened to come out in that limbo.
So what's happening now is that it's a tit for tat. So now Universal is saying, well, we're not going to let AMC show our movies. So you mean the Jurassic World, sequel can't be shown, like all of these huge tentpole movies can't be shown. And it's like, where's the adult in the fucking room?
Well,
I mean, there's just nobody. It's all of this.
Isn't that the question of the past 4 years?
Well,
exactly.
It's so funny. Oh, go ahead.
Bitching at one another. I mean, but it's so funny because literally 3 times now there has been an open letter written by the CEO of the company to the other company, and in one case cited another company, and the other company was just like, "Don't speak for us. We're not talking about that company. We don't want to piss off that company." And that company is just like, "Well, now we're pissed off." I mean, it's just like everyone's just
and look, being a fucking
idiot.
Listen, $100 million is nothing to sneeze at. Yeah, it's not Avengers, but like that is way more than they expected to make on a streaming service. So I understand the knee-jerk anxiety AMC is having and feeling like they gotta do something.
But here the irony is that it's still misplaced, because had Trolls 2 been released on premium VOD in normal times, quote unquote, we would have fucking waited to just rent it when it was normal.
Yeah.
We're stuck with the kids in the house, and every fucking kid wants new content, and they have to watch something, and you're trying to distract them.
Well, luckily they can go to
everybody's
the
gonna
new way.
Fucking download the movie.
they can listen. Tell the kids to subscribe to the New Way YouTube channel, where we'll be pressing out fresh content all summer long.
We had pre-ordered that shit. We had it at
Benjamin the Steamroller Wilson.
I mainly wanted to get Ben's take on it because I know how much Ben hated the first Trolls movie and the soundtrack, and I just know how much it hurt him to have to pay for this thing, and now people being like, "Well, guess what killed movies? Trolls."
Move on. I guess.
Damn you, Anna Kendrick.
Go ahead.
I guess from an outside perspective, I just still don't understand it, because the movie theaters are shut down completely. That's just one movie that made $100 million, and I don't see I don't see how AMC could come after Universal for releasing a movie that they own. I mean, when movie theaters open back up, they're going to have endless movies.
Yeah,
that's
misguided.
That's the argument. Like I said, so reason why I kind of wanted to pull it up here is I had a feeling we would probably be kind of all on the same side, but I have friends that are arguing vehemently to be like, dude, this thing made $100 million. I don't have to ever go to the movie theater again. I got a surround sound and all the stuff, and it's great. I'm like, dude, you got to get out. People want to get out of their house and go to the movies. Like if iPic can charge $30 a ticket and be successful doing so, people are going to go to the fucking movies. Like,
so it's not okay. So it's not about the $100 million. It's about the fact that they released a quote unquote blockbuster style movie.
So,
yes,
exactly.
They made a lot of money, man.
So
they made a lot of money. They're jealous.
They think that they're setting a template for future releases, and that
yeah, but Netflix is already doing that.
It's true.
That's kind of what that was the other side of it, is like, yeah, we've had movies released directly to, and I mean, look at something
but they've always had their side of the fence.
Yeah.
You know, like there's been Netflix original movies. Extraction is one thing, and the next James Bond is another. That's for the theater. The AMC is a cornered, injured Wolverine, and they're lashing out because they feel like their life depends on it. And that's just what it is.
Yeah, and those angry.
Their blockbuster video. 15 years ago.
Their angry CEO letters. My favorite is that both of them are doing the same thing, and they're like, if you think we're being flippant about this and joking, and that we're just using this as a negotiation tactic, you are dead wrong. I'm like, of course it's a negotiation tactic. You dummies. You're not gonna not show the next, again, Jurassic World's a great example. You're not going to not carry that movie and lose an entire 2 weeks or 3 weeks over the summer of business. Like, it's ludicrous. It's just stupid. But listen, I think there's going to be a restructuring of theaters after this. I think there's going to be a restructuring of what movies, and we even talked about that on one of our podcasts about blockbusters and how that affects the movie scape.
Also, I mean, just imagine the saturation. I mean, the content saturation we're going to have in theaters. I think we're a lot of studios are going to be set up for kind of continued failure, just based off of the investments that they made in a lot of these properties and how. People are gonna. I do think people are gonna flood back to the theaters, but there's gonna be so much shit to watch. It's gonna feel watered down.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like we could do gangbusters the second half of the year in the theater business, and it's still not gonna make a difference. And you're gonna get to the end, and they're gonna look at tit for tat like we should be making half as many movies as we are because we're not making the bottom line when they're really just not looking at the big picture either. So
yeah, we don't know how full they're even going to be able to fill theaters at the end of the year just by
from September to
virus.
December, there's going to be plenty of people in the.
No. I don't mean people. I mean how many legally they're allowed to have in a theater. Even talking about in the fall, whether or not you have to have a limited capacity forced on you, not just like how many people want to go.
The point is that we can only hope, and I believe that things will eventually normalize. But think of the PR move if a Universal Pictures were to start, a program. Let's get back to the theaters that have given us so many memories of watching films in the theater, and they don't even have to put up all the money. It could be a donation thing, but just for to save face, But it's greed that is just making everyone jumpy, and we just need to take a step back and take a deep breath.
I think there will also be filmmakers that will donate and keep theaters alive as well. Like I think there are going to be people like Spielberg and Tarantino and Nolan and people that believe in cinema and that. I mean, Spielberg is so
Tarantino will make sure that the New Beverly Theater doesn't go out of business. I'm pretty sure about that.
Well, the other thing I also was thinking I don't know if this is like something that breaks monopoly laws or not, but if I was Disney, I would just buy a movie theater chain, right? Like with their animated content, Star Wars and Marvel, they alone could just fund a movie theater just to make their own money, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that would be something they're thinking about as they're losing tons of money on their parks and other shit. That why not just buy a theater? Make the Disney chain.
I feel really bad for Disney. They're
what?
Or feel bad for Disney.
Poor guys and gals.
All right. Well, with that said, we'll move on to our main event of the podcast. So this is another themed episode. We've done a few of these. This is number 4, and this is the movie pitch game. The movie pitch game is pretty straightforward. Each of us will be given a title of a film. We have never seen this title before. We'll be given 2 actors and 2 actresses to populate this film, and we'll be given about 60 seconds or so to come up with a pitch with only those 5 things at our fingertips.
For context, if you haven't listened to a previous one, as a test earlier, Matthew Schenk sent me the title of a movie, Destroying the Darkness, starring Forrest Whitaker, Eddie Murphy, Meryl Streep, and Zoe Kravitz. And we would have to make a story out of that title and those actors and actresses.
Wait, there's no chance that could come up again, right, Matt?
No.
Did he?
No. And to kick off this episode, we have brand new theme music supplied by Mr. Nicholas Santa Croce.
Oh, sweet.
Let's hear that movie bitch. Let's hear that movie bitch.
Oh, that's right. It's the movie pitch game from the New Way Podcast.
The
asking
movie
our
bitch
faithful
game?
viewers one simple question.
Tell your things, but it should be greenlit.
There we go. All righty. So I have also loaded. We've lost Nick. I'm not sure what's going on.
He was saying,
It's okay. We're gonna play it. We're gonna play it again.
For God's sake, Ben. For God's sake.
We're gonna play it again.
Go for the 18-second theme song. You're killing me, buddy.
Hey, all right.
Well,
Let's
the thing is,
everybody just.
I had
cool
no
down.
I had no context. I thought it was going to go on for 4 minutes.
It's just cool.
This isn't election the
It
musical.
could have been a 45-minute theme song to end the episode. We didn't know.
Nick, nice harmonies, though, bro. Nice harmonies.
Thank you, Paul.
I'm assuming we're going to hear that at least 2 times more.
Nope, only
I
once.
actually had
That
to
was it,
remove.
and you ruined it.
I only have been able to keep certain things on here. I have to move tracks off for the next part.
Oh,
so that I
shit,
will play
I'm
one.
sorry.
All right, we'll do it one more time just because
let's hear
Nick
it. Let's
is
hear it.
very upset. Everyone just, I'm going to mute
Can I
everyone
sing
else.
along?
No.
Let's hear that movie pitch. Let's hear that movie pitch.
Oh, that's right, it's the Movie Pitch Game, the New Way podcast, asking our faithful viewers one simple question.
Do you think spinach should be greenlit?
All right, well, that's enough of that shit. All
Still
right.
sounds like a movie bitch to me.
Let's hear. That's what I say. Let's hear that movie, bitch. Let's hear that movie. All right. So it is. Let's hear that movie, bitch. I've also loaded up a number of themed music tracks that we can use for our kind of our little movie trailers as we pitch the movie. So as you guys are thinking of your idea, the first thing you're going to give me is a genre like comedy, drama, indie flick, thriller, romance, adventure, action, etc. And I will try to match up some music that will kind of help set the mood for your pitch. We are going to start off with Mr. Ben Wilson tonight.
Oh, really? Okay.
You are number one. It's going to go Ben, Paul, Matt, Nick. Ben, Paul, Matt, Nick. And then at the end, the four of us are going to do a group pitch on two movies and see if that works out or it fails.
Let's hear that group pitch, bitch.
Let's hear that movie
Let's
pitch.
hear that group pitch.
So I am going to copy these blind title and actors and actresses.
This is really using technology to its absolute
I'm
zenith.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Let me close that thing. All right. So I'm
Matt's
gonna...
got this system where you don't even know at home, or to our listeners at home, he is copying and pasting a spreadsheet of data in white text, invisible white text against the white background.
It's invisible ink.
He doesn't even know, and pasting it into a chat for us to see so that it's still a surprise. It's just... It's a crowning
All right, I have sent it to Ben. I'm not looking. I just saw Ben do a spit take. This is gonna start off pretty good.
Oh, he got it.
I will be honest. A couple of the titles, as I was gathering them, were kind of glimpsed. I have a feeling what this one. There was one specific one in here. I didn't know if any of us would get it. I downloaded like 40 titles, so I saw them at some point, but I don't know which 10 made it to the final.
Oh, I don't even know if I can do this one. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
I'm jealous.
Ben is. Oh man, he's
Whatever
gonna
it could
lose
be.
it.
Okay. Okay. Well, you guys talk amongst yourself.
Yes,
for a
we.
second.
So we'll let.
You got to
Ben...
let him get his 60 seconds. Now, did you lower the amount of time we? I feel like we got at least 2 minutes last time.
You can have a couple minutes. We let it. I say 60 seconds, but we're pretty liberal about how long we give you.
No, I think we actually should stick to 60 seconds. You know, we got to move this along.
We can try. We'll let him get his time. I mean, I like watching him think. Like, look at him up there, just thinking so hard. It's
This
just
is more reason for you to watch the New
Yeah.
Way podcast on our YouTube channel, right, Matt?
Well, actually, and one of the things I want to talk about, we released something on our YouTube channel this week, a live reading of The Golden Girls, episode 3, Rose the Prude. We're going to be doing more live readings live, as in we recorded them live, but we recorded them.
All right. I think I'm good. I think
All
I got
right.
it.
Do you have a genre, Ben?
Like mystery.
Mystery would be a little tricky.
Or you could just play the Golden Girls theme song. You
what-
still have it on the soundboard.
I mean, mystery.
I'll try this. Let's see if this works. Let me know if this works.
Okay.
Let's try here.
Let me just preface this by this works. If Paul had gotten this, this would be a far different movie. Like this was.
Oh God.
It'd be good.
The district attorney, played by Sandra Bullock, has been for years looking into a conspiracy theory that goes back into the 40s. She had realized that mysteriously, upon their return from World War II, a veteran was suddenly disappeared with no trace and became a cold case. And she, tears into the history of this case because the same thing happened with another person in Vietnam, another man who came back as a war hero, but then suddenly disappeared.
Oh no.
As she's looking through the old documents, she looks to the World II hero, Sidney Poitier, a very young Sidney Poitier.
Whoa. Wow.
Guess he was coming to Ben's movie.
And and the Vietnam veteran Kevin Costner.
Wow. Oh, sorry.
And as Sandra continues to follow clues, she realizes that there's been a trace left behind by some mysterious person, and they lead to one place, to a woman played by Julianne Moore,
Oh,
Wow.
who
This cast.
she realizes very, very quickly as she begins to learn more about these cases, has been abducting these men and keeping them as her slaves.
Ooh.
It all leads to a showdown at her house in a macabre, deep cellar basement where these men have been locked away.
there it comes.
In an excellent, exciting movie called Grunts in the Basement. See, it's a double entendre. Because they're grunts.
Grunts.
Grunts
basement.
in
I
the
get it.
basement.
I get it.
Good.
And you're right.
Grunts.
Manuelito would have a far different movie.
Way different. Way different.
That's great.
It's like
Paul's movie would have been like Sidney
dick
Poitier
is
is
getting
banging.
sucked in this one?
Sidney Poitier is banging Julianne Moore and Sandra Bullock loudly. Kevin Costner goes, "What are those grunts in the basement?" Movie.
grunts in the basement.
Then Ben's gonna open it up on video on demand, and then AMC will refuse to screen it.
It was released by Universal.
Sidney Poitier. That's
Poor
so
Sidney
good.
Poitier.
I
He's
love
falling
it.
on
I
hard
was like,
times.
for like someone disappeared, and then there was another guy, and also disappeared.
No, and I for some reason I thought you had mentioned like actors for the other ones. I was like, how many people did you get? And then I realized, oh no, you just were like they were nameless grunts. There's only the
That's
the two
why they were
named
grunts.
All right, Paul
I'd put a
Manuelito.
Wait, does he get the "I love it" or the?
Oh yeah, I would watch. I think I would watch that movie.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
I would laugh at the title, but I would watch that movie.
I'll watch anything. with it.
I'm a little rusty. I could have been a little bit better on the pitch, but I think the
I
concept
could have
is
used.
sound.
I could have used a triple entendre. If I'm being honest.
I will
Mine.
say that is one of the ones that was hard to forget in the 40 titles I saw, and I did the exact same thing you did, Ben, in my head of like, oh, they'll be soldiers, but I had no other context whatsoever. It was like, how did we wind up with all these grunts in the basement?
I probably would have catered to the lowest common denominator.
Yeah, it would have
too,
been
so.
bad. It would have been
Yeah.
a bad pitch for me.
Yeah.
All right, Paul. I'm going to send you.
It's fate. Just like when you got assigned the Roadhouse musical, man.
There we go. It's fate. All right, I'm gonna send this over to Paul. I'm going to not look, so I'm going to send, and I'm going to close this window. Did you
Starting
get
out
it,
with
Paul?
a bang there.
Did you get one, Paul?
I did not.
Oh, did I
in
send
your
that to the
chat.
wrong one?
Wow. We knew this couldn't be.
Oh,
Perfect.
oh no, it didn't send. Hold on.
Gotta click enter.
I did. I'm trying not to look.
Enter
so
to
I
send.
didn't. There we go.
Okay. Don't look though.
All right, trying. All right.
Oh, we got it.
All right, so Paul's going
Okay.
to start thinking about this one. He
got
looks
it.
happy.
Paul's
He looks happy
laughing.
with his choice. So yeah, we recorded me and a few theater friends and folks from Lake Worth Playhouse did a live reading of The Golden Girls. We had a really good time, and we kind of tested it out, and it got a pretty good reaction. So we are going to do another one with a much bigger cast this time, and it's sounding like we are probably going to do Arrested Development, a read through of the pilot. So on air here, I'm going to put Ben and Nick on alert.
Can you give us a little Estelle Getty, just a little taste, a little sampler platter?
My Estelle Getty is exactly what you're looking at right here. It was literally just Rocket Raccoon, because Rocket Raccoon and Sophia from Golden Girls are the exact same fucking character, and I realized that. So she's like,
Or George Costanza.
I'm 90. I'm out of my gourd. Like it's just basically, yeah, they're all the same thing.
George Costanza is contemporary Rocket Raccoon,
Yes.
and your Estelle Getty is Rocket Raccoon in a Marvel movie 20 years down the line.
Yeah. So I'm curious, Ben. I know you've kind of other time constraints with the kids and not, but would you like to be a part of the Arrested Development read through if we do that?
Sure, I would do that.
And if you were looking to do a character, what couple of characters might you be interested in reading? Just so I have some choices.
Heavy breathing ensues.
Yeah, I don't really know. I'd be good with pretty much anybody. I mean, I know who I mean,
Tobias. End of story.
you want to be Tobias?
Next. No, you're Tobias.
Oh,
Next.
so I thought Nick was Tobias. See, I pegged you as Tobias, Nick.
You pegged me as Tobias?
I did. I
Why?
pegged you as Tobias.
It's 'cause I'm a never nude.
Or the narrator.
I told you I was a never nude in confidence, Matt.
You're a huge David Cross fan. I figured you would probably go the Tobias route.
I'm as big
Well, you
of
know,
a David Cross fan.
I trust my friends to assign me with something.
All right.
You know, so whatever it is, you know, Roadhouse, Tobias, I'm open to it.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
All right, Paul. You are ready.
ready.
What kind of genre are we looking at here, Paul? Paul looks constipated.
Romance?
Romance?
Oh God.
I have like erotica.
Here we go.
You like
Can
Let's do
Paul,
erotica.
can we not devolve into a Cinemax softcore
Well,
film, please?
listen, Paul.
That's it.
That's
his
Paul's
prerogative.
secret is talking Harrison Ford dogs and porn.
This is a film that can be played in theaters once the pandemic is over.
All right.
It will be.
Okay.
Well, not if we
I like
don't.
your
not if we don't greenlight it.
I
All
like
right.
your confidence.
All right.
Paul's been taking notes this whole time. so-
Here we go.
No, I'm just trying. I'm trying to get. It's a hard one to come up, but
We believe in you.
All right,
I
Paul.
got-
So
I
here's
believe
your
in you.
and here's
Got
your
it.
and here's your music.
No pressure. Make us laugh.
Just be funny.
it's amazing. Okay. A young. Okay.
Boo!
All right.
You suck.
Newlyweds, played by Anthony Hopkins, young Anthony Hopkins.
A young Anthony. Wait a minute. What?
Yeah,
Can you
young
do that?
Anthony Hopkins and Angela Bassett, newly married. But there's one thing missing. And that is that Anthony cannot find the clitoris. It's really
Yes,
starting
they
to
can.
affect their marriage just
Yes, they
2
can.
months in. So we enlist the help of the world's greatest, a handsome Latino man with all the right moves, played by none other than Benicio del Toro. He says to him in this trailer, I can't find the clitoris, doesn't even exist.
Is that your Anthony Hopkins?
Anthony Hopkins,
Okay.
yeah, so
Okay.
it's that. Because Angela Bassett's about to leave him in this clitorisless marriage. So Benicio del Toro and Anthony Hopkins go on a world tour
Like the
of
trolls.
sex, searching for the only woman in the world that can teach them about the clitoris. There's action, adventure, love, drama. And then they find her, Dr. Ruth, played by none other than Helen Mirren.
The only age-appropriate casting in this entire thing so far.
Played by Helen Mirren, who, against all odds, helps Anthony find her clitoris. And then in ipso facto, his wife's clitoris. In a movie titled The
Ipso
Legend.
facto. Sorry.
Jesus,
The
Nick.
Legend. God damn
Hold
it.
on, gotta say the title.
The Legend of Sex.
Legend of Sex. Legend of Sex.
I mean, you tell me not to devolve to the lowest common denominator, but the title, what else am I supposed to
You
do?
had me at Newlyweds, played by Anthony Hopkins and Angela Bassett.
I think it should be. I think it should be The Legend of Sex, and then subtitle.
World tour.
Subtitle ipso facto, the wife's vagina. What was it?
That's too dirty for Cinemax.
That's not
love
being played
this.
on AMC.
Only in this movie is Benicio del Toro the young Latin lover.
Yo, look,
Oh my god, I love it.
I'm a young
The
Latin lover, man.
Irishman.
What the fuck?
you saw The Irishman. You can do the, the facial.
Yeah. They'll make him.
Yeah, I
the
saw The
shit.
Irishman.
And
Yeah, I saw it.
And then they're
Paul.
gonna have to make Helen Mirren old. 'Cause if she's period
Jesus.
correct with the rest of them, she's gonna be a young lady.
I
But,
feel like
uh,
Helen Mirren. I feel like Helen Mirren was a better choice for Dr. Ruth than Angela Bassett.
If directors want Helen Mirren to look her age, they have to use the same technology the Irishman did to age her like 30 years.
I was waiting when you said Dr. Ruth. I'm like, he has to have picked Helen Mirren. He has to have gotten her. I don't know anyone else. He'd be so confident to be like, I know who my casting is.
All right.
It all started.
It is
every assignment has that one clue that the light bulb goes off.
So
and
you're
everything.
Well, I'm sorry. No.
And everything else follows after that one clue. You see Helen Mirren, Dr. Ruth, and everything flowed like wine, baby.
That's where it went.
All right. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm highlighting my line and I'm going to turn it into black ink so I can see it while you guys talk and give me some time to prepare my pitch.
He's an octopus.
We got your back. What are you going to say, Ben?
I just said he's an octopus.
No, before that, you had a thing, right?
Oh no, it was dumb.
See, we fall apart without Matt being the moderator of our
Paul. Anyways,
hey Paul.
Hey Paul. For those who don't know, Paul works in finance and banking and stuff like that. And so, how has your job been affected so far with this whole thing?
I mean, I'm getting paid. I'm working at home.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm not doing.
You're living the dream, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we're still making phone calls and chatting with people, but just not doing it in person. So not really selling anything quite right now, but setting stuff up for the future, building that pipeline for future opportunities, so we can come out of the gate with a solid game plan.
Well, you're going to need more Carol Baskin backgrounds for sure. So start Googling images and things.
That is true.
Yeah, 100%.
It's going to be a brave new world. I mean, the thing is, I was really hoping that in this brave new world, we would learn that not every meeting could maybe be an email. Now maybe every meeting could be a Zoom meeting, even if everyone's in the same building. You get up that virtual background. There are some pros and cons.
The whole thing is, I always thought was funny that when you look at like AI and like people were asking
the movie AI.
No, not the movie AI. I was I was talking to some people who are using some some algorithms and stuff like that to like ask their entire companies, like companies of thousands and thousands of people, like what the biggest problem is, or like what the most inefficient part of their job is, and then it would kind of use all of their answers to construct an answer. And everyone's like answering all of these big ones. There are too many meetings. And I feel like, it like doesn't give you enough time to do your job. And I feel like this time is almost counterintuitive, because everyone feels like they have to be doing meetings, because it's just like, well, we're working from home.
How can you prove
shit to do?
You've been working tirelessly.
Yes, exactly. How do I show that I've been working?
Speaking of working tirelessly, I think I'm ready.
All right,
to pitch a tent.
So yeah.
Okay. Let's see if this works or not. I think this. All right. Gary Oldman plays a racist grandfather living in a small Maine island town that's separated from the mainland by a couple of bridges. Very subdued life. He's in retirement. He's set in his ways, and just kind of a cranky, racist old man. He becomes rather upset when...
Is he racist?
He's very racist. That is his one trait so far. He is an old man, and he is racist. That is important. It might come up again later in the movie. Just gonna not... I don't think that's a red herring.
Okay, got it.
Get off my lawn.
This is no relation to that hack movie. This is a much better movie. He gets very upset when a black man moves in next door, a doctor played by Denzel Washington, and Dr. Denzel is trying to befriend this old man, just not working, and Oldman hates especially that every morning Denzel comes out and greets him with "my man," and it just gets under his skin, his racist old leathery skin. And so his granddaughters come to visit in the springtime. They're off of school, played by Saoirse Ronan and Jennifer Lawrence, and they're all hanging out, and he's happy to see that they've picked up some casual racism from him, and maybe he's rubbed off a little bit on them. And then the unthinkable happens. a pandemic strikes the United States.
Topical.
And they are forced to be put on lockdown in this small Maine town, unable to even cross the bridges into the Maine area.
The small Maine town of Castle Rock.
And,
Maine area.
and then the mainland of not the main island land, but the mainland. Racist Gary and his two less but still somewhat casually racist
I want
grandchildren
the movie to be called Racist Gary. I'm sorry.
are just wait. So they're stuck there, and what
New
should
Line
happen?
Cinema presents.
What should happen? Gary starts to come down with a bit of a cough, and unable to get any medical help because they're stuck on their little island. He's forced to go next door to the doctor, Dr. Denzel, who comes over and begins to treat him, much to Gary Oldman's chagrin. And Gary watches how his granddaughters are nice to Dr. Denzel to his face, but then when he's gone, they fall right back into the racist traps, and he starts to realize maybe I'm wrong about this whole racism thing. Maybe I've been teaching my grandchildren the wrong way to think about things.
This is a Green Book too.
And he is slowly nursed back to health by Dr. Denzel, and they all grow stronger and become friends and true family. But unfortunately, in treating Gary, Dr. Denzel himself falls ill, and with no one to treat him, he passes away. And Gary vows,
The feel-good story.
he
here.
vows to make sure that he doesn't pass on this racism to his grandchildren. He doesn't stay set in his ways. He's going to take after this great doctor. He is becoming my man. In the film, Becoming My Man.
You got my man in the title, and Denzel is one of your actors?
That is correct.
Fucking rigged. I love it.
Becoming My Man. I will say statistically, Ben, the way I set up the
Becoming My Man.
Statistically, the way I set up the pool of actors and actresses, there should be an equal amount of representation in all of our things based on how I set it up, because it's about 50-50.
I'm just joking. I love it.
But
I'll take it.
That's
It
Becoming
feels
My
like
Man.
It was definitely adapted by a novella written by Stephen King. Maine
Not just 'cause-
town,
well,
Castle Rock.
Originally,
Green Book Mile.
Originally, it was gonna be New England, but then I couldn't think if there were any like islands off New England, and I thought Maine was safer. So I wanted to feel less stupid.
Oh,
All right,
Maine
Nick.
is New England.
Well, but you know what I mean. All right,
I never worry about stuff like that. Free yourself.
all right.
yourself.
Free
Those
your
chains.
mind, and the rest will
Rest
follow.
will follow.
All right, Nick, you are up. Opening up the chat, choosing Nick to send to.
Just do it, Nick.
Flick.
I want to see you hit that shit so hard.
I'm gonna paste it. I'm gonna hit enter, and I'm gonna close the chat without looking. Do we have things going on, Nick?
All right.
All right. Okay, and we will
Oh,
talk
man.
amongst ourselves.
What a cast. Holy shit.
Well, you're only picking from the top 50 white and black actors and actresses of all time.
As Nick would say, he's catching the vapors.
So, Paul,
Anyways.
if we do a reading, a sitcom reading, and I know you've read for us once before to great success in the pilot of Dream Writers.
Oh. Why don't you read like the pilot episode of Degrassi or something like that? I mean, that would be fucking hysterical.
Listen,
The original-
I'm trying to concentrate here, Ben. Please don't say the words Degrassi. Well, I need to get this together.
So the original idea that we had was honestly to do old sitcoms that no one's ever seen and read those and just kind of come up with what we based like on our interpretation. Sure. We also figured that no one's going to watch like live reading of The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis, versus they'll read Golden Girls, they'll watch Arrested Development, they'll watch.
They would watch Degrassi. They would watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
So, Buffy's an hour long though. I'm trying to keep it to half-hour shows for now. But we'll listen. We're only on the second one. That's I'm just doing the second one. This is so we'll do Arrested and then we'll move on. I liked Arrested just because it's got such a sprawling cast that kind of you can put 10 people in there and they all get kind of a moment to shine and do something kind of interesting. Versus the last one was just 5 characters.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people want to do Job. I think one of the trickiest ones is Michael Bluth, which I actually I like the idea of maybe trying to take that one, just because I like Bateman's just laid back. The way he delivers a line is just so like kind of like it's just sort of falling out of his mouth. It's kind of good. But there's also Buster Bluth. When we're looking at this, there's a narrator. There's George Michael. There's George Michael Sr. There's a lot of really good roles in this.
The narrator is the best role, I think.
Well, and I think
Honestly.
I'm gonna do the narrator as a. I think I might do the narrator as a female.
What a coincidence!
I may do it as a female. No, do it as a female because I want to make more female roles in the show. I think George Michael maybe the narrator, whoever's reading the stage directions, and Lindsay and the mother, Lynn Lucille, probably just do.
Cool. I thought you were going to say I was going to be narrator.
No, I was.
Okay.
I'm trying to serve everyone, despite it being my idea and it being completely up to me to say I will take the narrator and any other part I want.
Wow.
Yes. Well, speaking of which, you've got a movie to pitch right now yourself. Do we have a genre?
Right, yeah. I would like. You got like an American History X, hard drama, political thriller, political, regal. Sure. We open
Glasses
up.
off.
Yeah, glasses off. We open up in a hypothetical future. The reign of President Liam Neeson is finally over. This is not based on any real president, but Liam Neeson was, let's just say he wasn't really, he was in over his head when he got elected. He was originally a millionaire, started running for attention, unexpectedly creates a huge following in middle America and defeats everyone for 4 years of misery. He locks children in cages. He doesn't know how to respond to a pandemic. It's crazy. He fucks up at every turn. Luckily, his term has ended. In the beginning of the movie, we get a little bit of background on his tumultuous reign. He's defeated by Olivia Spencer as the new president. With her vice president, another woman, Anne Hathaway. Now, this enrages Liam Neeson. He's had let's say a sordid history with women. Not his best group. As Octavia leads the nation back from despair, essentially, taking account science and facts, compassion, Olivia Spencer
Octavia.
and Anne Hathaway. Octavia Spencer and Anne Hathaway have really started to bring the U.S. back from ruin. 4 years, things start to normalize. But little do we know that Liam Neeson has been secretly taking on a protege, played by Leonardo DiCaprio. Enraged by the success and the good press, suddenly the press isn't so hard on Octavia. She's lauded as a hero. He trains Leonardo DiCaprio to use his loud mouth and conspiracy to win back the White House. In the movie, jealous of the president.
It feels a little on the nose.
And that's not modeled. That's loosely modeled after President Garfield, if you remember.
William Howard Taft. William Howard Taft in 1910.
Definitely Grant.
I have one comment. At the beginning, you said in a hypothetical future, and then I thought to myself, aren't all futures hypothetical?
It's true, technically.
No, actually, everything's predetermined. So
Look at them big thinking brains.
I went down a rabbit hole. We couldn't get out of it.
A rabbit hole. All right, Ben, it's back around to you. Let's see if you can redeem yourself. No, I'm kidding.
It's kind of a dark ending.
I was, I mean, it kind of, you know what it reminded me of?
It's a horror film.
It reminded me of the Ides of March a little bit.
Love that flick.
It's a good flick. I'm a fan. All right, Ben, I'm going to paste some things in here. And I'm going to look up to where you wrote "suck on my balls" earlier today and not at what I just placed. And I'm going to hit enter, and hopefully that will populate for you. Did you get an assignment? All right.
Yes, I did.
For the other guys, serious question. How many paleo string cheese can a man eat in one day before it becomes too many?
I've never
like that you
seen a
went name
man
brand.
eat so many chicken string cheese.
I love that you went Polly-O. That was my go-to brand growing up too.
There is no other brand, man.
Oh, there's plenty of.
I like the ones that do the twist, the Jack and Cheddar twist.
Oh, how dare
It's
you!
like saying there's
Or
that's like saying
Sargento.
there's more than one brand of mayo. No, there's
That's like.
Aren't
that's
you
like
Italian? You don't go Sargento? The people that
Yes,
know
Sargento is
cheese,
it's true.
not for string cheese.
They're cheesier people.
they know
to be fair.
the Italians know their cheese.
But Matt choosing that cheddar mozzarella twisted hybrid is like the people who celebrated the oops all berries Captain Crunch.
Oh, that's
streak.
really good. I mean,
Oh,
no,
God,
gross.
I
I
can't-
don't
I
like
can't
that. No, I don't
even
like
with
that
you.
either. Gross.
I honestly can't eat them with you. Do you
So
really
how
like
many-
all berries?
No, I
many-
honestly
okay.
can't eat Captain Crunch because it rips my mouth apart and I don't like it.
All right.
That's the correct answer.
I think I'm
My
ready.
sensitive mouth can't handle all that crunch. All right, Ben, do we have a genre?
Think like Coen Brothers comedy, kind of like like off
dark
kilter. Well, not dark comedy, like off kilter. Like
Quirky.
I don't know.
I can do
not dark.
I can do Baba
No,
O'Reilly.
think like more like David O. Russell comedy.
A quirky indie. You think a quirky.
I'm
indie-
gonna give you classical comedy music. Will that maybe possibly
Yeah,
feel?
do
It's
that.
a little more Wes Anderson.
Well, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
You're gonna have to roll it, buddy.
Let's try this.
Perfect.
I mean, that's okay. Well, it's going to
love
be a different type of pitch.
I could try. There's this.
That works.
That's fine. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. A young woman, played by Zendaya, works on her grandparents' farm in southern Georgia. He has long days and, has always helped. She learned from her grandparents, and her parents had a farm. But she has a real talent as a horticulturist, and she's very into like flowers and things along those lines. And she likes to make, homemade remedies and combinations and things along those lines. And then one day, her mother gets a terrible rash on her leg, and so she makes a homemade remedy and gone. So she says, okay, I don't know what this is. So she goes to see her local doctor, played by Emily Blunt. Remember, this is the Deep South. And she gives her this mixture, and she says, what have you put in this? And she said, just, it's a homeopathic recipe. I don't know. And so they
Is that
start-
Zendaya?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. Hey, hi, man. She's a good actress. So
Or is Mike
She can
Northrup?
pull it off. She can pull it off. Anyways, Emily Blunt runs multiple tests and realizes that this could be a literal cure for melanoma, for skin cancer.
Wow.
So she sends it to someone who works at Harvard Medical, played by Chris Hemsworth, who travels down to the South, but has a big culture shock. And it doesn't, feels very out of place, around kind of these hillbillies and country bumpkins. And there's a lot of comedy that goes on there. And at the same time, a big pharma representative from Europe, played by Christian Bale, also travels down with insidious intentions, trying to undermine these tests and everything that's going on. And as kind of cultures clash, humorously and also kind of insidiously towards the end, Chris Hemsworth finds that, it's true that here in the Deep South, where, there's very little technology and even places with no cell phone signal, real true miracles can happen in a movie called Science of the South.
Ooh.
Science of the South.
Science of the South.
Science of the South. All right.
What an oxymoron.
right,
But I
yeah.
love it.
Yeah. Isn't Christian Bale the villain in the next Thor?
Yeah. This is how they're getting
their
ready.
warm-up.
Yeah.
Their warm up.
They're still making. I thought they were done with that. I thought that was over.
No.
Thor?
That's
No,
never
Thor's
over.
still alive.
Marvel films.
Well, the whole Avengers thing.
No. The
They're
MCU
phase four.
continues
There's
on, man.
phase
Phase 4.
Phase
Ugh,
4, buddy.
You gotta go
Oh,
through.
Paul.
Taika Waititi's doing the next Thor again.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm in.
Now
I'm in.
exactly. There we knew. Either the greatest thing or the worst thing in the world. Another Thor. That's going to be terrible. It's Taika Waititi. Oh my God, I can't wait.
Taika's the best. I mean, everything he does is golden. So.
All right. Up next, Paul Mammalito. I'm going to take your line of things here. I'm going to copy it. Can't believe this is actually working. I kind of assumed this would not work.
You're brilliant.
I thought it would.
Matt.
I knew
You're
it
My
was.
brilliant, man.
science of the South.
I believe
All right. Close
It
the
is the science
window.
of the South.
All right, you
Just
got
as
your
close as
assignment,
you
Paul?
get.
You got it? You got it? All right.
Oh, he
he
did,
looks
yeah.
happy there.
Look at that self-assured
Oh,
smile.
wow. Look at that shit-eating grin. Yeah, we were asking if Paul was interested in reading in Arrested Development, because Paul, of course, famously read when we did our Dream Writers many years ago, 10 years ago, actually.
I ruined it.
He read the lead role in Dream Writers. And the chemistry between him and the other lead was just not there.
Chilling.
It was just the most lack of chemistry I've ever seen in my entire life.
I think
Matt, would you
Outcast-
say? Matt, would you say it was killing you?
I would say it was killing me.
I'll answer this with another question. What's cooler than being cool?
I don't know.
Ice
hope it's
cold.
ice
The
cold.
chemistry between Paul Mammalito and the lead.
There we go.
Ice cold. What's
There we
cooler than
go.
being cool?
Yeah.
Matt, come on.
Sorry.
Improv rule. Just say yes. You got to roll with it. You got to
This
lift each
just
other up. Don't let me bomb.
You
Don't
asked
let me bomb.
you asked me what's cooler than cool, and I said what?
This is when
I don't know how I was not playing into your.
It's not in your cultural zeitgeist.
No, I thought you were supposed to do the punchline.
I think when we did that reading, we realized that our first inclination of who our friends should play was absolutely wrong.
And I remember we came up with that idea at the Halloween party at Mike at Mike Fincannon's, and we were like, you know who we should read for, and we were positive we had hit gold. Paul and Christy are gonna be just lightning, just electric, and it shorted out very quickly.
You never know.
And then
It's
you
someone's fault.
realize, boy, when your two leads don't have chemistry, they're in a lot of things.
Well, listen. It wasn't that Jennifer Grey.
No, it wasn't like
they
that.
They hated each other, Swayze, but they made magic happen.
Oh no!
Really,
These two loved each
there's
other.
No excuse.
These two loved each other. It was just they had no you would never have guessed that there was any friendship whatsoever.
Right, well.
At least, thank God for Chris Lockett, because we were dying. It was not good. And then Lockett came in with back-to-back scenes, Scottish friend with the theater background, and we're like, okay, that this is actually maybe we'll get something good out of this.
That'll work.
It was such a go.
I was talking about this. Being at least theater kid adjacent is certainly helpful. Just
Yes.
adjacent. I went to art school. I was Templeton the Rat in 4th grade for Charlotte's Web. I'm not trying
Those
to
of
brag,
you that
but
have listened to the show before might have heard that 7 or 1,000
right.
times.
I was also in a band.
I'm gonna give this my best shot.
Alrighty. What kind of genre might we be looking at, Paul?
Like a gangster style movie or something.
What do you have in Road to Perdition?
Scorsese-ish or
Or
like 70s music maybe.
I can just quietly
How about
bemoan Marvel
this?
movies in the background.
Which,
Is Hitch? Is that what you said?
no, this is.
Yes, the soundtrack to Hitch. Yeah.
Or you can listen to the whole soundtrack and decide if you like it and then pitch, or you can just start going.
I'll just start. It's not really what I was looking for, but I'll go with it because
Christ.
I can adjust. Okay, I'm ready.
This is it.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's start. We're gonna start this over. So the way it goes is you listen to a few seconds, you go, yeah, that's good, and then you just start pitching. All right, here we go.
Let me hear how the refrain goes.
Okay. So, Robert Downey Jr. and Lupita Nyong'o play two star-crossed lovers that, against all odds, in this small town in South Carolina, have managed to not only keep their love together, their marriage of 10 years with two beautiful little children, mixed children, might I add.
It's really amazing where the cis white minds go to when we have to put a black actor with a white actor.
Hey, I'm talking here. I'm pitching here. So, Robert and Lupita are in love, and against all odds,
Despite the fact that they are racially mixed.
yes, against all odds in the small South Carolina town. I think South Carolina. And also against all odds again, they have their 70s style roller skating rink up and running that they took over in 2011 and still have it running against all odds. Nobody shows up, not making any money, but it's still there, and they know how important it is not to the town, but they want to keep it to keep the culture of that small town. But in comes two business men and woman, half man and woman, played by Peter
Wait. What? Can we clarify that? Wait a minute. Stop the music.
Can I finish my pitch and then you can adjust? You can ask all the questions.
I'm sorry. So it's a half man and a full woman.
Played by Peter Dinklage and Emma Watson.
Oh, no.
Oh, for God's sake.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Are you kidding me?
They roll in with their pinstripe suits and cufflinks, and Emma with her black tight dress and long, luscious legs, and just sorry. Anyway, they roll in.
Disgusting.
And they've got big plans. They're gonna
Look away.
down the 70s style road skating rink, and as evil business people do, build low-income housing for the poor. Well, Robert Downey and Lupita Nyong'o are not going to let that happen. They find out also Peter Dinklage is actually connected to the mob, so things get really hairy when they don't take his first, second, or third offer.
What mob?
They're willing to fight to the death to save this roller skating rink and not build low-income housing for the poor in this South Carolina town. And a movie titled Gangster in My Town.
All right. Okay.
I was gonna say I really hope people watch this on YouTube, because I like how you were like, but Rob, they're not gonna let that happen in our town.
I was like, by the second time
Rick
you said his
Moranis
name,
in
it
Ghostbusters.
just became Robert Downey Jr.
I don't know about you. I'm excited to see Emma Watson in a villain role. I mean,
in a black
she
dress.
doesn't do that. She simply doesn't do that.
Hot. She's
Has she
hot
ever-
as well.
Has she ever been a villain in anything? Like
The
maybe
bling ring.
Maybe not. Well, she's unsavory in Bling
I haven't
Ring.
seen
wouldn't call her a villain.
Circle. I don't know.
I think you
she's a villain in that or
said
not.
the phrase "against all odds" 17 times.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
The song really should have just been
Yeah.
"against all odds."
The soundtrack is Phil Collins for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. I am going to highlight my line.
That one gets the green light. That one's going to the theaters.
It actually sounds like a
When
real
the
movie.
boy, I hope those movie theaters open up soon, because I got to see that one on the big screen.
Well, I love the set piece of
Bombs
a
of the movie
roller
theater,
rink.
but gets great Oscar buzz.
The roller rink was great. It seemed like a bit of a MacGuffin, but
Matt, look at your words. All right, I got this.
Okay,
This.
all
Look at your words. I used to go to a roller rink maybe like every other month for a birthday party growing up. Was that a big thing in Florida?
It was a big thing in
Tennessee? Yeah, I mean,
one of my
Matt-
well,
Galaxy Skateway here. Yeah. when you were
Yeah,
fifth and
I
sixth
didn't
grade?
really go. I played a lot of hockey though, so I was always in those places, but always playing hockey. So I never went back for the roller skating things.
So one of my classmates, Adam Wade, his family owns Skate and Jake's in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Good
And
name.
so, yeah, Jake was a giant moose. Like and Adam, my classmate, was the mascot. So he would skate or come out once an hour and skate around as a giant moose outfit. And he ended up translating that skill into being Smokey at Tennessee and then being a professional mascot, being the Arizona Cardinal for 7 years and making like
Wow.
$80,000 a year just doing public appearances, which is crazy.
Wow, so
that was his
being
resume.
Being the Arizona Cardinal nets you $80K a year.
Yep.
Wow.
Public appearances and like all the stuff that you have to do. And
I would expect the Steel Man in Pittsburgh to clear at least $80K, but the Arizona Cardinal, people showed up for that.
Yeah, apparently.
Wow. I mean, good for him.
Yeah, I mean,
He also does that in 135-degree heat. So I'm surprised not more money than that.
By the way, best sports mascot ever. It's tied for 2, and it's the same team. You know what I'm thinking of?
No, who is it?
The old school Charlotte Hornets, who had Hugo.
Oh yeah, I remember.
The anamorphosized Hornet.
Yeah, the Hornet.
Teal and purple Hornet. But then there was another Hugo, or his name's something else. But it was a human in like a It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia green man suit. Again, only it was turquoise. Who would do these crazy dunks at halftime? These acrobatic dunks at halftime. And there was a human mascot and there was like the traditional mascot, and they coexisted.
Interesting.
Let's dive into the
all right. I think I got this. Let me find a theme.
You got this.
We kind of have 2 mascots.
All right.
We got Chief Osceola and Renegade.
Okay. All right. A young couple played by Jake Gyllenhaal and Natalie Portman have been married for 12 years, but their marriage is in a rut. They watch Netflix every night instead of having sex. They order from the same Chinese food restaurant on Tuesday nights. Their lives are just kind of going nowhere. They feel like they're destined for more, but
sounds good to me.
So they're married.
They're married. They said the young couple.
I get to eat Chinese food and watch Netflix and Natalie Portman. I'm in.
The joke was you're explaining marriage.
Yes. So
Ben is offended.
They decide they need some excitement in their lives, and they see an ad, late night TV, for a self-help guru played by Samuel L. Jackson, who promises to bring adventure into young couples that are struggling to find that spark they used to have.
This is Hitch again.
Just listen. Not every one of my movies is Hitch, but this might be Hitch. All right. Now, he decides that he's going to take them on some extreme things. And he says, you have to trust me with your lives. We're going to get crazy. And they say, you know what? We're in this. We want to make this work. So his first stop is to go to a wild game preserve in Africa on a safari. And they go out to the wilds, and at first it's kind of amazing. It's exciting. A lion comes kind of near the truck, and Jake protects her, and she feels some of that safety again. And they start talking to Samuel L., and they find out even though he's a self-help guru for marriages, he went through a pretty bad divorce himself. And unfortunately, before any more can happen of it, they are mauled to death by animals in the wild. And they go on to find themselves in a place they don't recognize, somewhere in the afterlife. And they meet a being that lives there, played by Annette Bening, who explains to them they are in limbo. And
caseworker.
And there is a way to get out of limbo, but she kind of has lost her interest in helping people anymore. She's been there for so long. She's been doing this for so long. She's gone a little bit batty. And the rest of them kind of realize that limbo actually doesn't have to be that bad. There's a lot of great people in limbo. So the young couple and Samuel decide they're going to shake things up in limbo. And they start kind of rebranding the whole limbo idea. This doesn't have to be, there's a great thing being in between two extremes. You can just find this kind of centrist view. They start doing, of course, Samuel L. and Annette Bening start to kind of develop a little bit of a romance, and now the young couple is helping coach them towards a relationship by also finding their own relationship again in a movie I like to call Marriage in Limbo.
All right. It's Hitch meets Beetlejuice. I'm in.
I was going to say
Hitchlejuice.
Hitch 2, Defending Your Wife.
Hitch juice.
I'm sorry I got all the Hitch pitches. I got racist Hitch, and I got
Hitch pitch, bitch.
For me, it was Defending Your Life.
It's the Hitch game, the movie Hitch game. Anyway, that was mine. All right, Nick, you're gonna do the last of the solos, and then we get to try to do this shit together.
Oh yeah,
It'll be interesting.
4-way. Just so fucking
all
excited.
right, Ben, just calm yourself down.
No, come on.
Getting really gross about
Come
this.
on.
All right,
Come on.
enter.
Get his beer shirt on.
All right, Nick, you should have an assignment. Do you?
Yeah, I got it.
All right.
I got it.
So you guys were talking sports ball before. I too like the sports balls of whichever teams in sports we were talking about. So what were we talking about?
All right, I'm ready. Let's go.
Really?
I don't know where I'm going with this, but let's go with wacky comedy.
Oh my god. Well, I'm gonna have to reuse one of our wacky comedy ones, I think.
Or then what music cue haven't you used that you want to use?
How
And
about this
I'll
one?
adapt to that. All right, you really want to do the hue? All right. In a not too distant future, everyone has now abandoned the idea of democracy. I'm not going to get too political, I promise. We've gone back to kings. Each continent now will have a king. The old way of politics just weren't cutting it anymore. We're going to go regal, folks. We're going to create kings and queens, and in some cases, even the princes rule whole countrysides. Now, of course, in Stone, Montana, an unlikely candidate for the rule of the United States emerges in Margot Robbie.
I'd vote for her.
Not part of any regal history, no experience in politics, but a bastion of the Stone, Montana community. Valuing hard work over experience, integrity over nepotism, the working class blue collar people of Stone, Montana. Now, of course, in the same town, Jennifer Hudson also lives by the same values. All
Wait,
right.
So they have to elect this king or queen?
Well, we're not even there yet.
Okay,
We're not even
okay.
there.
That was just the prologue.
Currently, Bryan Cranston is president of the United States. He's stepping down. He wanted to be king. It's no longer going to work, but he's making sacrifices for the people who want something new. Israel has a king. Palestine has a king. It's going great over there. They're thick as thieves now. It's totally working, you guys. God, I should have taken more time to think. Jennifer Hudson and Margot Robbie meet up at some point. They decide that they need to make a strong push. We don't want established politicians anymore. But one person emerges to try to talk him out of it. Cuba Gooding Jr. He says,
Help me help you.
Show me your stump pitch, honey.
Oh, no.
Show me your stump pitch, honey.
Oh, no. Oh.
This is turning into Hitch again.
It's-
So basically, one of them wins, and they star in The Princess of Stone.
Wow.
Princess of Stone. It's all in the title. If you don't get a good title, you're toast. You're toast.
I love this. I love that.
Toast. I spent 7 years with the Second City. Of course, switched over to Upright Citizens Brigade.
I studied at Juilliard.
The now defunct.
All right.
No,
Well, only in
Upright Citizens-
NYC.
I know.
Yeah, it's still there in LA.
All right. So we have
Thank
two
goodness.
for us to do together.
Can I get a new title?
I mean, do you
We're about
want to
to.
do it? We're gonna do them. Yeah, we're gonna do 2 of them as a group pitch.
the group pitch.
Hey, Matt, I would recommend so for these 2, we should start them in different orders. So yeah, but like we can go the same order for the first one, but I think the next one you should start.
Who would
How
like?
many are there?
So there's just 2. What we're gonna do is whoever's gonna start is gonna get the title and 1 actor, and they're gonna start the pitch, and then the person that follows them is gonna get another actor. And they'll get the title as well, and then the third person gets an actor and the title, actor and title, but all the same title. But we're just each of us is going to add on to it is going to kind of carry the story forward.
So the first pitch pretty much frames the general
A little bit. So
ambiance.
I'll start this first one. So let me turn on these guys. Oh boy. Okay.
I hope it's a good title.
It's a title.
So Matt, you want to go in the same order? So you, Nick, me, Paul.
that
and Paul
works.
brings it home.
Yeah, and I'm gonna
Okay.
do.
Paul, you're bringing it home.
Bring it home.
I'm gonna go with the. I'm gonna start this off with the Rudy theme.
You
I don't know
always
why
bring
I'm
it
feeling
home.
the Rudy theme right now. So let's start that. All right. Okay. A grandfather sits on the rocking porch.
Is he racist?
He's played by James Earl Jones and loves all races, creeds,
Okay, good.
religions, and women. And he's in his rocking chair whittling a little piece of wood, and his granddaughter comes up and she says, "Grandpa, I want you to tell me about it. Tell me a story. Tell me a story from your past." And he says in that unmistakable James Earl Jones voice, "The only story I'm sorry. That's the best I can do. I'm not gonna do James Earl Jones. That's as good as I can do. But he's gonna say, it says, I grew up in a time where, sorry, Nick, where black people weren't allowed to do a lot of things that white people were allowed to do.
Oh my God.
But I was really good friends with a boy that lived down the street and another girl that lived in my neighborhood, and they were both white. And we didn't see color. We just saw each other. And we didn't know that there was this underlying racism going on until we were much older. And now I'm going to pass the story on to Nick.
Oh man.
And
Are we solving racism
Yes.
today?
Here you go. All right, here you go, Nick.
A bunch of white dudes.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yep, that's your
That's
act.
the title?
Yes.
That's
That's correct.
Continue.
Continue.
Okay, so James Earl Jones recounts the white friends that he had growing up, and he realizes that, not every white person is bad. This proves that anyone can get along if you just have an open heart and you talk and engage with people. But that's when he meets Matt Damon, a member of the Ku Klux Klan. Ben?
Hold on, I'm gonna get Ben. You're gonna get another one. Sorry. You went exactly where I would have gone, Nick.
I did my best. I'm working with the title, folks.
Oh no! All right, here you go. Here you go, Ben. I love that Paul. This is kind of perfect for those of you at home. Paul still does not know what the title of the movie is. He's gonna have to carry this home.
So, Matt Damon comes into town spreading hate and
Racist
Damon.
Matt racist.
But James Earl Jones actually shows some compassion and some patience and stuff like that, and they actually sit down and have a dinner together, and he says, I haven't thought the wrong way for a long time, but I'd like to actually introduce you to my mom, because my mom is the one who is, she has some backwards views. And so, but the problem is, she's also a member of the Ku Klux Klan. So would you come over to dinner? And so they can't go over to dinner at their house, and Frances McDormand comes out.
That is a scary Ku Klux
and it's
Klan member.
appalled that of course a black man is there eating dinner with them, but they strangely get along, and then
And now, Paul, you're gonna get the final
It's a
cast
racially
member.
charged episode of the podcast.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All right, ma'am.
And we're trusting Paul to
Paul
provide
Mamalito to
the-
bring us home. All right, Paul. Oh, wow.
Try not to get anyone's dick sucked on the way to the ending.
Okay, so just so we're at where we're at, James Earl Jones has a daughter. Told the daughter about a young white kid friend he had growing up, and they got along just great. Then Matt Damon and his racist ass mother came into town, inviting him together, and they're sitting there at dinner, and they start to get along, and then they realize, where did you grow up again? And start having a little conversation. Holy shit. That white friend he had was Matt Damon.
Wow.
And when they figure that out, like a light bulb, it goes off. And Matt says, I guess black people aren't that bad.
This is why Green Book wins the Oscar.
In a movie titled Friends with Hoods.
The double entendre of that in this context is terrible.
Wow. God.
you randomly generated friends with hoods.
It's like
I love that the generator is literally just, it's two words with like a with, of, and whatever in between, and then they're in like different things. But oh my God, that is fucking amazing.
Friends with hoods.
I wonder.
Oh my God.
So what were all the actors in that one?
That was it was James Earl Jones, Matt Damon, Francis McDormand, and Rachel Weisz. We you didn't work Rachel Weisz in there,
you didn't
but
you didn't work Rachel Weisz and Paul.
And this.
Well,
this
Rachel
is,
Weisz was, by the time it got to me, she was completely pretty much out of the
she
story.
was the other friend that they bring in that reminds them that they knew each other as kids. Let's make it that.
I think I did a pretty good job. Okay.
you pulled it together. I also think it's telling. It's telling that when you have one black actor in a pool of all white people, all of our minds go the same.
Well, I
way.
started with just James Earl Jones. I did not know that the rest of the actors would be white. I just knew that I had James Earl Jones.
That's
and
all randomly generated.
James Earl Jones and Friends with Hoods. The title was sort of pinning me into a bit of a.
You didn't see anything else.
I didn't see anything else. I just saw James Earl Jones and Friends with Hoods, just like you saw only the one I'd revealed and Matt Damon.
Okay.
So yeah, it's the Friends with Hoods, the idea that there's like, that there's a scene in the Green Book version of that where Matt Damon's like, you're a bunch of hoods, and they're like, no, you wear a bunch of hoods, and like, together we are friends with hoods.
Black Klansman was probably a better take on that story.
Probably. All right, Nick, you're gonna start this next one.
Okay, and then me.
So I'm not gonna know what the title is to this yet.
You're gonna bring it home too.
Fuck me. Okay, I will. So Nick's gonna start us off. You're gonna give me. You're gonna give me a genre, Nick, when you are ready. Okay.
Oh wow! Holy shit! This is gonna be a fantasy.
A fantasy.
Fantasy sci-fi.
I have that. Let's.
Oh my God! This is great.
Are you? Tell me when you're ready to start.
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right.
Let's go. Sam Rockwell plays a grizzled inventor scientist in the very distant future. He is actually responsible for creating the first truly humanoid android. Passes every test, undetectable by humans, super strength, intelligence, the experience of all of mankind rolled into one hard drive in a super realistic celluloid body. Some people want to use these androids for war. He thinks there's more academic terms. But he sees a much greater threat starting to emerge on the horizon.
Now we go to Ben. Ben, I'm
Sam Rockwell's character named Dr. Light.
All right, Benny F gets
It
the
all
next
comes
portion.
back to Mega Man.
All right, Ben.
I love watching like the
I'll
journey,
think dawn
emotional
on
journey.
everyone. Yes.
That's where you were going with that.
Meanwhile, there was a religious sect separate from those who are, with him and the other scientists that are developing this type of technology that believe that no one has the power and no one has the authority to bring that type of artificial life into this world. And they believe that they have the magical power of God within all human and living creatures.
That's right, man. That's right, buddy.
And their main cleric, played by Ryan Gosling,
Ooh.
preaches to the world that these androids must be destroyed.
All right, Paul, you're gonna get another piece of the puzzle.
Is this Blade Runner 2049?
Well,
Might be a little bit. All right, here you go.
Okay, yeah. So,
I don't think he's as happy as we were, Ben.
gosh.
He's got all the bomb frostings. Even
So you're going to introduce a new character and a new.
Yes,
new
I got it. So, okay.
Yes.
So, all right. So, Sam's building these robots and he's trying to help them almost human capacity, and leading the religious sect that says no one has that authority. In comes Jessica Chastain
Ooh.
as before all out war breaks out between the androids and the humans. Jessica Chastain come from a land far, far away, from the galaxy Urdor.
Oh,
Ordor.
shit.
Ordor.
We got an alien.
Ordor.
To
Hold the door.
to act as an intermediary between the two warring or feuding sects, and that's sex S-E-X.
Yeah, I need
Yeah, okay.
S-E-C-T-S.
Warring
Factions.
factions. Warring factions.
Over to you.
Okay.
That's all I got.
That's good.
Listen,
All right.
you
builds on it.
moved the narrative along, and that's all you're supposed to do.
That's it.
Feuding sex
Oh,
with an X is something
okay.
completely different.
Yeah. So,
I love feud sex.
So we've got Sam building his robots. We got Ryan's got his cult of religious nut jobs on the other side, and Jessica Chastain comes down from planet whatever, and she's
Udor.
like Udor, and she's like, we gotta come to some common ground, and she starts to make some headway of bringing these two together, but in steps the head of a giant corporation that stands to benefit only if these two sides never join forces. They have to stay. One has to hate the other because that's what's running her business. Played by Uma Thurman, and Uma has got the proof that she has been secretly controlling both Ryan and Sam, and she's going to release this to everyone so that they know that both of them are frauds. This is a bunch of bullshit, and she's gonna just throw a match into the drum. But then Jessica Chastain reveals she's not actually from planet Udor at all, because that's not a real thing. It's just a dumb idea that sounded silly to made up to begin with. She is a human with a robot brain that has been implanted inside of her. She is the future of mankind, and it is her and her alone that is going to unite both sages and robots. In the movie Sages and Robots.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Boom.
Wow.
I thought we did pretty well on that one.
That wasn't too bad. I like everyone
there are-
catching the title and being like,
Well, of course, Nick and I'm just like, oh, yes, I like where this is going. Nick.
I've written this movie before.
When was the last time that you saw sages prominently featured in a cinematic piece of art?
I mean, I would have made it about robots that cook predominantly with the spice sage.
Wow.
would have been a much way terrible movie.
A Julia Child robot teaches humanity how to cook.
It's just binging with Babish.
Sam Rockwell's a Cajun chef who's never used sage in his life.
Let's throw some sage on that one.
I'll guarantee I will not use sage in my cookings.
In the deep south.
Give you a one-way ticket to Flavor Town with sage.
And then the robot chef brings black people and white people together in the south with his shrimp and grits recipe.
Sam Rockwell's a racist Cajun chef.
God damn it.
We only solve racism in just 2 of our movies. We could have done more, I think, for the world. Wow.
We are the white saviors, aren't we?
Well, we are tonight.
We are tonight.
Especially me. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of The New Way. We want to thank Paul Mamalito for joining us once again and stepping into the fray. This is, by the way, sort of a nerve-wracking process to go through.
Yeah.
So I commend everybody here for coming up with anything that's even remotely usable, because it is a little bit crazy to try to pitch a movie after seeing just a simple title and a couple actors.
I'm not happy with my solo efforts. I'm ready for the next round.
This is the first time I've been okay with I am by far the worst, so I'm happy. I don't think I was the worst tonight, but I won't say who anyone else was.
I mean, my pitch wasn't good, but still grunts in the basement.
Grunts in the basement is.
I mean, listen, if you can't make a good movie out of the title "Grunts in the Basement," you should be shot.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. We've got our cold readings coming up. We've got a few more of our short special episodes as well. We're going to be featuring writers and directors and locations and all kinds of good stuff. So thank you so much for listening, and we will talk to you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.